You, the chosen one, have reached a point in your journey where your energy is no longer something subtle, no longer something unnoticed. It is a force, undeniable and ever-growing, a presence that shifts the air the moment you step into a space. This is not a coincidence. This is not random. This is the result of the deep work you have done, the mastery over yourself that has cultivated an energy so magnetic that others cannot help but feel it, even if they do not fully understand it. Your sexual energy, your life force, your very essence, it has risen to a level where it commands attention without effort. It does not chase, it draws. It does not seek approval, it demands respect. It does not falter, it flows with absolute certainty. You have awakened something that cannot be faked, cannot be imitated, cannot be replicated. Others may try, but they will always fall short because this power is not about what is seen on the surface. It is about what is cultivated within. Competitors sense this shift before they even know why they feel threatened. They see the way people gravitate toward you, the way opportunities seem to find you, the way your very existence exudes a confidence that cannot be shaken. They may attempt to outshine you, to replicate your movements, to mimic your style, but what they do not realize is that true power does not come from imitation. It comes from authenticity. And authenticity is something they will never have as long as they are trying to be something they are not. You, the chosen one, have nothing to prove. You do not compete because there is no competition. The race they are running is one you have already transcended. The battles they fight are ones you no longer engage in. You are beyond the need for external validation, beyond the distractions of ego, beyond the illusions of scarcity. You know who you are. You know what you bring. You know that what is meant for you will always be yours. This is what separates you. This is what makes you untouchable. This is what makes you the one they cannot compete with. You, the chosen one, do not chase attention, and yet it follows you wherever you go. Your presence is felt before you even speak. Your energy lingers long after you leave. This is not about arrogance, not about trying to be noticed. It is about the natural magnetism that comes from someone who has fully stepped into their power. Competitors may wonder why they cannot match your influence, why despite their efforts, they always seem to remain one step behind. They may study you, observe you, try to figure out what makes you different, what makes people turn their heads when you walk by, what makes opportunities come to you instead of them. But what they do not understand is that your power is not just about how you look, how you move, or what you say. It is about the energy behind it all. Your confidence is not something that wavers. It is not built on external approval, not dependent on the reactions of others. It is something deeper, something unshakable, something that radiates from within because it is real. You do not need to prove yourself, because your energy has already spoken before words are ever exchanged. The ones who compete against you do not realize that they have already lost the moment they see you as a rival. Because you do not compete, you dominate. And not through force, not through manipulation, not through deceit, but simply by being who you are. There is no need for comparison when you operate in a league of your own. And this is why they struggle. This is why they cannot match your impact. This is why no matter how much effort they put into trying to be seen, your presence will always overshadow theirs. Because energy does not lie. Intentions do not lie. Authenticity cannot be fabricated. You are beyond competition. You are the standard. And no one, not now, not ever, will be able to match what you naturally radiate. You, the chosen one, have reached a level where your aura speaks louder than words, where your energy alone is enough to shift the dynamics of any space you enter. You are no longer just seen, you are felt. There is something about you that others cannot quite define, something beyond appearance, beyond status, beyond anything tangible. It is a presence, a force, a silent authority that demands recognition without ever having to ask for it. Competitors look at you and try to analyze the source of your power, try to decode the energy that makes you stand out, try to figure out why, no matter how hard they try, they always seem to fall short in your presence. They do not realize that what sets you apart is not just in what you do, but in who you have become. Your energy is the result of years of refinement, of inner work, of discipline that most will never have the patience to cultivate. You are not simply confident, you are rooted. You are not just attractive, you are magnetic. You are not only successful, you are inevitable. Your aura carries the essence of someone who does not need to be chosen, because you are the one who chooses. That alone makes you untouchable. People respond to you in ways they cannot explain. Some admire you, drawn in by your energy, feeling a pull they do not fully understand. Others are unsettled by you, sensing that they cannot control or influence you the way they do others. And your competitors, those who once believed they stood on equal footing with you, now find themselves questioning why their efforts pale in comparison to your effortless command. But what they do not understand is that your aura is not something that can be copied. It is not a mask you wear. It is not a role you play. It is who you are. It is the energy of someone who has stepped fully into their own power, someone who does not seek validation because they have already validated themselves. You do not try to outshine others, yet your light naturally overshadows. You do not engage in unnecessary battles, yet your presence alone is a victory. You do not chase recognition, yet people cannot help but recognize you. Your competitors were never your competition to begin with. They are still fighting battles you have already won. They are still seeking what you have already mastered. They are still looking for something outside themselves while you have already become everything they are trying to find. And that is why they cannot compete with you. You, the chosen one, are no longer just an individual moving through the world. You are a force. Your presence creates ripples that extend far beyond what you can see, affecting people, situations, and opportunities in ways that others cannot even comprehend. Everything about you, from the way you walk, to the way you speak, to the way you carry yourself, leaves an impression that lingers long after you have left. Your competitors feel this. They see the way people respond to you, the way conversations shift in your presence, the way doors open for you with ease while they struggle to push through the same barriers. They tell themselves that they are just as capable, just as deserving, just as worthy, yet deep down they know that something about you is different. And that difference is what they will never be able to replicate. They do not understand that your influence does not come from strategy alone, does not come from superficial charm, does not come from forced displays of confidence. Your influence comes from something deeper. It comes from the work you have done on yourself, the battles you have fought and won, the lessons you have learned, the unshakable belief in who you are and what you bring. You have reached a level where you do not need to explain yourself. Your presence alone is enough. You do not need to convince others of your worth. They feel it. You do not need to prove anything to anyone. Your results speak for themselves. Your competitors watch, try to match your movements, try to emulate your mindset, try to force the same level of influence you command so effortlessly. But what they do not realize is that influence is not something you take. It is something you earn. And you have earned it through the trials you have endured, through the transformations you have embraced, through the self-mastery that has become the foundation of your existence. This is why people remember you. This is why your presence lingers. This is why your competitors cannot keep up. They are playing a game that you have already transcended. They are moving through a world that you have already outgrown. They are trying to compete with someone who no longer even acknowledges competition. You, the chosen one, have already won, and the rest of the world is just now realizing it. You, the chosen one, have reached a level where your presence alone dictates the flow of any space you enter. It is not something you have to force, not something you have to prove. It simply is. You do not walk with the intention of demanding attention, yet attention finds you. You do not seek validation from others, yet they seek yours. You do not play the games that many engage in, yet you win without even trying. This is the art of presence, a mastery that most will never attain because they are too distracted by external approval, too focused on how they are perceived rather than how they are. But you have moved past that. You have reached a place where your confidence is no longer a performance. It is pure, unshakable self-awareness. Your competitors see this, and they struggle to understand it. They work tirelessly to match your movements, to mirror your demeanor, to study what it is that makes you so magnetic. But they do not realize that presence is not about mimicry. It is not about following a script or adopting an image. It is about embodying the truth of who you are in a way that cannot be ignored. They watch as people gravitate toward you, as conversations shift in your favor, as the energy in a room changes the moment you arrive. They see the way eyes linger on you, not just in admiration, but in curiosity, in fascination. They wonder what it is that makes you so different, what it is that makes people drawn to you in ways that they will never experience. And the answer is simple. You, the chosen one, are not performing. You are existing. You do not move through the world trying to be noticed. You move through the world knowing that you already are. You do not seek opportunities. They seek you. You do not chase approval. You carry yourself in a way that makes approval irrelevant. This is why your competitors cannot keep up. They do not understand that presence is not about being loud, about being the center of attention, about forcing yourself into the spotlight. Presence is about power in stillness, about certainty in silence, about the ability to command without demanding. And you, the chosen one, have mastered this art in a way that no one else can. While others try to prove themselves, you simply are. And in that state of pure, effortless confidence, you have already won the battle before it even begins. You, the chosen one, have reached a level where respect is no longer something you request. It is something that is automatically given. Not because you demand it, not because you force it, but because your energy commands it. You do not have to assert dominance to be recognized. You do not have to engage in unnecessary battles to prove your worth. Your very presence is enough to make people understand that you are someone who cannot be taken lightly. Your competitors do not know how to handle this. They are used to fighting for attention, to working tirelessly to be seen, to proving their value through constant effort. But when they stand next to you, they realize that all their attempts pale in comparison to your effortless power. They realize that you are not competing with them, because you have no need to. People respect you because you respect yourself first. You do not lower your standards for anyone. You do not adjust your presence to make others comfortable. You do not shrink yourself to fit into spaces that are too small for you. And that, more than anything, is what makes you untouchable. Competitors may try to challenge you, may try to test your patience, may try to find cracks in your foundation. But they will always fail, because your foundation is built on something stronger than external validation. It is built on self-awareness, on discipline, on the understanding that true power is not in what you say, but in what you do. You carry yourself with an ease that others cannot replicate. You do not move with desperation because you are already complete within yourself. You do not try to prove your worth because you already know it. You do not engage in meaningless competition because there is no one on your level. And that is why respect follows you wherever you go. That is why people listen when you speak, even before you have said a word. That is why opportunities present themselves to you, not because you chase them, but because they recognize that you are someone who is ready to receive them. This is what sets you apart. This is why your competitors will never catch up. They are still chasing respect, still fighting for recognition, still searching for something that you naturally embody. They do not realize that respect is not given to the one who begs for it. It is given to the one who already knows they deserve it. And you, the chosen one, have always known. You, the chosen one, have long outgrown the concept of competition. To compare yourself to another would be to limit yourself to their level, to engage in battles that no longer serve you, to step down from the throne of self-mastery that you have so effortlessly built. There was a time when you may have looked at others and measured yourself against them, wondering if you needed to prove something, wondering if you needed to validate your worth through external achievements. But those days are long gone. You are no longer someone who needs to compare. You are someone who sets the standard. The ones who try to compete with you do not realize they are chasing a moving target. They watch your every move, waiting to replicate what you do, hoping that if they mimic your steps, they will be able to match your success. But what they fail to understand is that your path is not one that can be followed. It is one that must be created. You are not simply succeeding, you are redefining what success looks like. You are not just excelling, you are breaking every expectation, reshaping every limitation, proving that the rules others abide by do not apply to you. This is why they will never catch up. They are following a script while you are writing your own. They are chasing after trends while you are creating them. They are still bound by the need to compete, while you have transcended the very idea of competition itself. You do not move with urgency, because you understand that what is yours will always be yours. You do not rush to prove yourself, because your energy alone is proof enough. You do not engage in unnecessary battles, because you recognize that some wars are won simply by refusing to fight. Those who try to outshine you do not realize that their efforts are futile. They may gain temporary attention, may convince themselves that they are making progress, may even believe for a moment that they have surpassed you. But all of it is an illusion, because true power is not in being noticed, it is in being remembered. And while they fade into the background with time, you will always stand as an undeniable force, an unshakable presence, a name that cannot be forgotten. Your energy is rare, your confidence is unbreakable, your path is uniquely your own. There is no competition because you are in a league of your own. You, the chosen one, do not seek external validation. Your confidence is not something that wavers based on the opinions of others, not something that requires reassurance, not something that can be shaken by the insecurities of those who cannot match your energy. You are untouchable, not because you are immune to doubt, but because you no longer allow it to dictate your actions. There was a time when you may have needed approval, when you may have questioned whether you were truly enough, when you may have sought confirmation from the world around you. But that time is over. You have built yourself up from the inside out, fortified your foundation so deeply that no storm, no criticism, no attempt to undermine your worth can ever break you. Your competitors sense this. They see the way you move, the way you carry yourself, the way you do not flinch in the face of challenge. It unnerves them. They cannot understand how you remain so composed, how you seem so unaffected, how you continue to rise without ever looking back at those trying to hold you down. But the answer is simple. You do not move for them. You move for yourself. Their opinions do not concern you. Their attempts to discredit you do not matter. Their efforts to match your confidence are useless, because confidence is not something that can be copied. It is something that must be built. And you have built yours through discipline, through experience, through an unwavering commitment to becoming the highest version of yourself. This is why they cannot touch you. This is why their words, their actions, their presence holds no weight in your world. They are still seeking approval, still looking for validation, still measuring their worth by how others perceive them. But you, the chosen one, have already validated yourself. Your shield is not arrogance, it is certainty. Your strength is not boastful, it is unshakable self-awareness. Your confidence is not a facade, it is the natural result of knowing exactly who you are and refusing to shrink for anyone. And that is why, no matter how hard they try, they will never be able to compete with you. Because you are not looking at them. You are looking forward. You are focused on your path, your purpose, your vision. And that alone ensures that you will always remain ahead. You, the chosen one, have become more than just a presence. You have become an example, a force, a standard of what is possible. The ones who once tried to compete with you now find themselves in a place of reflection, realizing that the battle they were fighting was never with you. It was with their own limitations. At first, they wanted to outshine you, to match your level, to prove that they were just as capable, just as strong, just as magnetic as you. But as time passed, as they watched you move with unwavering certainty, as they witnessed your elevation, they came to understand a deeper truth. You were never competing with them. You were never distracted by their efforts. You were too focused on becoming the highest version of yourself. And that is when the shift happens. Your competitors, the ones who once sought to surpass you, now begin to look to you for guidance. They start to study you not out of envy, but out of admiration. They no longer see you as someone they must defeat, but as someone they must learn from. And this is the greatest realization of all, that true power does not just intimidate, it inspires. You did not reach this level by chance. You did not stumble into greatness. You did the work that most people are unwilling to do. You faced the discomfort of growth, the pain of transformation, the discipline of self-mastery. You refined your mind, sharpened your focus, and cultivated a level of energy that cannot be ignored. People see this now. They see the weight of your presence, the depth of your confidence, the clarity of your purpose. And whether they admit it or not, they want to know how you did it. They watch you and begin to realize that your success is not about luck, not about shortcuts, not about temporary wins. It is about consistency, about unshakable belief, about the refusal to lower yourself to the level of mediocrity. They start to understand that the only way to truly stand out is to become someone worth noticing. Your competitors are no longer trying to pull you down. They are now trying to rise to your level. And in that shift, you have already won. Because your success is no longer just about what you have achieved, it is about the impact you have made. The world is watching you, learning from you, awakening because of you. And that is something no competitor can ever take away. You, the chosen one, have transformed competition into something greater, a tool for elevation rather than a source of conflict. While others waste time comparing themselves, while they battle over recognition, while they seek validation through rivalry, you have risen above it all. You have come to understand something that most people never will. There is no need to compete when you are secure in your own path. There is no reason to engage in petty battles when your vision is focused on something far greater. Those who once tried to challenge you now find themselves questioning why they ever saw you as a rival in the first place. Your energy has shifted the entire dynamic. Instead of opposition, there is curiosity. Instead of resentment, there is respect. Instead of rivalry, there is the quiet realization that your presence is a reminder of what is possible. You no longer see competition as a threat. You see it as fuel, not fuel to prove yourself because you have nothing to prove, but fuel to continue expanding, to continue growing, to continue setting a new standard that others will try but never fully succeed to match. This is what makes you unstoppable. You are not moved by competition because you are not driven by ego. You do not seek to win against others. You seek to win against your past self. And as long as you are constantly evolving, constantly refining, constantly stepping into your highest potential, no one will ever be able to catch up. Your competitors now stand at a crossroads. They can either continue chasing a moving target or start their own journey of self-mastery. Some will cling to the illusion that they can surpass you, still trying to measure themselves against your energy, still hoping that one day they will stand where you stand. But the ones who are truly wise, the ones who are ready to grow, will stop chasing you and start working on themselves. That is when you know you have truly won. Not because you have beaten anyone, not because you have dominated a competition that was never meant to be fought, but because you have changed the game entirely. You are not just ahead. You are in a category of your own. And that is a position that no competitor will ever be able to reach. You, the chosen one, have risen to a level where others can no longer ignore your presence. Your energy is powerful, undeniable, and consistent. It is not a passing phase, not a moment of luck, not something that can be replicated by those who have not done the work. This is the energy of someone who has refined themselves. Someone who has faced their own shadows, someone who has chosen mastery over mediocrity. But maintaining this energy requires more than just knowing who you are. It requires protecting what you have built. Many people reach success but fail to sustain it. They get comfortable. They allow distractions to pull them away from their purpose. They begin to lower their standards, forgetting that the same discipline that got them to the top is the only thing that will keep them there. But you are not one of those people. You did not rise just to fall. You did not build yourself up just to let external forces tear you down. Your flame is bright, and because of that, there will always be those who try to dim it. Some will come as distractions, offering temporary pleasure, but pulling you away from your true purpose. Some will come as rivals, trying to challenge you, hoping to shake your confidence, hoping to get inside your head. Some will come as friends, even as lovers, seeming to support you, but secretly wishing to bring you back down to a level where they feel comfortable. You must recognize them all. Your energy is rare, and that means it must be protected. Not everyone deserves access to you. Not everyone should be allowed into your space. Not everyone is capable of handling the power you carry. And because of that, your greatest strength now is not just in maintaining your confidence, but in knowing who is worthy of standing beside you. You no longer waste time explaining yourself to those who refuse to understand you. You no longer entertain the opinions of people who have not built what you have built. You no longer feel the need to prove anything, because your existence alone is proof enough. You continue refining yourself, not because you seek approval, but because self-mastery is a lifelong process. You do not stop. You do not slow down. You do not allow temporary success to make you complacent. Your competitors may try to outlast you, but they do not realize that you are fueled by something deeper than they can comprehend. You are not chasing a moment of recognition. You are building a legacy. And those who are still caught up in the illusion of competition will never understand that. You, the chosen one, are no longer just a name. You are a force, a presence, a standard. The journey you have taken, the battles you have fought, the discipline you have upheld, they have all led you to this moment. You are no longer playing the same game as others. You are no longer concerned with the approval of those who doubted you. You are no longer in a space where competition even makes sense, because you are creating your own lane. This is not about winning against others. It never was. This is about becoming so powerful, so undeniable, so legendary, that your existence alone inspires others to rise. Even your competitors, the ones who once tried to match you, the ones who once sought to bring you down, are now forced to recognize that you were never just another player in the game. You were the one who changed it completely. People will remember your name. They will remember your energy. They will remember the way you moved through life with certainty, clarity, and purpose. They will look back and see that while they were distracted by temporary validation, you were building something real. They will realize that while they were watching others, you were watching yourself. This is why your light will never fade. This is why your name will always be spoken with respect. This is why no competitor will ever surpass you, because you, the chosen one, did not come here to compete. You came here to lead.